Give me a sec. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So Jay, today's day what? 87.
Yeah.
What it do?
Going on.
Yes, Daniel.
What was that, Miss Alexandra?
Is that Daniel?
No, it's the Grand Marcus of America.
Well, welcome, the Grand Marcus of America. How are you doing?
Amazing.
So, Miss Alexandra Blockton. Today we will be interviewing the Grand Marcus of America.
Okay.
Are you ready today, Miss Alexandra?
Yes, I am. I'm just I'm on my phone right now, but I'm logging into my on my laptop. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll take our time. It's all good.
So we can continue. You can continue to talk and stuff right now.
Yeah, but we won't get all the way started until you're on your laptop.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So,
How was today?
um, all I could think about is my nap that I just took. So I just love taking these naps. 11 sounds good. I think 12 might be better though.
You do?
Yeah. But I think I might say the same thing once we move it to 12. I might say that one sounds better.
The witching hours.
The what hours?
The witching hours.
There we go. The later the better, it seems like. But I just took a really nice nap. Did you get to nap at all?
Who,
Oh, yeah.
me?
How about you, Alexandra?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm like just waking up from the nap. Feel real good, actually. Excited about today's episode, day 87 of the Real Talk Show mixed with the Taboo Free Talk Show. The two have combined to become one, and we introduce to you the Grand Marcus of America. I'm excited about today's show. And the crowd goes wild. Oh, man. White Tiger. So that was pretty interesting, Marcus, that the Dunbar High School are the Tigers. I didn't notice that till you mentioned it today.
Very exciting times.
Yeah, right? And then they put a little whooping on IMG Academy. Like, what?
Right.
Hey, Monet, if you can hear me.
He said, hey.
Hey, Julian.
Yes, Alexandra.
I'm gonna be working from home tomorrow remotely, and I think I may speak to my boss about it too to continue on because I think it would be more helpful for me to be at home remotely.
Are you talking about for all the days of the week? You're gonna be remotely?
No. Just like the days that I'm training with you during the daytime and stuff.
Okay.
Because I feel like I can take my time with Jaden and I don't have to worry about like not saying like they're distracting me.
No, I get it. Yeah, I'd rather be home myself.
Yeah,
I
because
was in
I
that
can
same situation.
if I if I need to go over a few minutes with him, I could thoroughly explain it to him. And then I don't have no because I share my office.
Okay.
Well, there's just only one other individual in my office, but she is gonna come in tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm getting prepared.
You see these, Marcus?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see him.
So these are keys. Look at Betsy getting creative. I guess you know, Janine and Juju be watching this piggy thing that's like, I think adult content or whatever. And I guess keys have something to do with it. So Betsy went on and made them some keys. So we're feeding into their feeding into their vices. But yeah, Betsy getting
Is
creative.
she making you use the keys too?
What was that?
Use the keys as well?
I don't know. All I heard was keys as well.
Is she making you use the keys as well?
Is she making me use the keys as well? Yes,
Am I
right.
coming in clear?
No, it's like fading in and out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully it's just temporary.
Okay. Let me think.
But I think it was coming in clear just a second ago.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Tune in. The Black Carrot Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura, love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX 36.
And I am Alexandra.
Blocked. This is an All Ages Alliance production. Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules.
And I am your co-host, Alexandra.
Blocked. And our featured guest, the Grand Marquis of America. Hopefully we have minimal technical difficulties, but here we are. Oh, look, the Grand Marquis of America, his icon is TG. That's pretty cool.
See, like I only saw like the beads, the beaded necklaces, and I'm like, what is that? You know what I mean? When I was on my phone, I'm like, what is that?
It sounded like it startled you.
It did, because that's like the first thing I seen when I came on.
So look, the Grand Marquis of America is already having an impact on you. That's what it's all about. Yeah. All right, Marcus, the Grand Marcus. How you doing, broski?
Awesome. Amazing.
So, you know, we're gonna just do like an informal, formal interview. Alexandra and I will get to know you a little better. You know, I know you. Alexandra doesn't know you, so we'll just bounce back and forth. Alexandra, I'll let you kind of like be curious first, if you don't mind, or I can start. But since you don't know him, I'll let your curiosity look. So what's up with those beads? Like, you know, it was like, but I think that's exactly the impact that the Grand Marquis of America was wanting to have. You know, like he's already touched you. Bing, you know, so let your curiosity go and let's just go from there, Miss Alexandra.
Sure. So, I'll let you kick it off and then I'm gonna chime in.
Okay. So I'm not gonna give no intro because the Grand Marquis of America, it's outside of an introduction. So then what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and start asking some basic questions. So if I was you and I didn't know Marcus, and I had a question to start off with, I'd be like, so what's up with the Grand Marcus of America? What's up with that name?
Well, the name comes from a culmination of life experiences.
Okay.
It comes from realizing that life is a stage and that you always have to be prepared to present yourself when you're on stage in a magical way, in a way that people can't always explain. And that's okay. And sometimes it's even fun.
Okay. So then when I hear you talk about stage, and then I see the name Grand Marcus, so I'm getting that you are a performer of some sort. Like there's like some sort of act that's occurring. Does that sound about right?
Some may say performer, some may say someone or something that don't appear.
All right, so I got some may say performer, and then some may say, and then it cut out.
Some may say a being that makes things appear where they don't usually appear.
Okay. And then is that like a magician of some sort?
You could say that to simplify it.
Okay. And then I'm gonna just keep asking questions, Alexandra, while you get a hold and then you see where you want to step in. Okay. So then, who's your primary, do you have a primary audience? Or talk about that. Who are you looking to impact?
I want to impact anyone and everyone I come in contact with, or if they come in contact with me.
Okay, that's a good answer.
And if I may ask, what would be the purpose of your impact? Like, would you want to to be more specific? What kind of impact would you like to have on them?
Life-changing.
Life-changing.
One that causes thought-provoking. One that causes them to look more internally and not as much externally.
Do you find that people aren't doing that? Like what makes you feel the need to be this person? Like, are you sensing some sort of gap in that, or?
Yes, I sense people ask a lot of questions externally and not enough questions internally.
Okay. Can you give me an example of a kind of person that maybe is focused on some of the outside stuff and not the inside stuff? Like,
Someone that builds their life based on fears.
okay. And so then the idea is that we shouldn't live in fear. Is that what you're suggesting?
I wouldn't say you should be oblivious of fear. However, fear should not make up how you plan your life.
Okay. What are some observations that you've made of people that have based their life on fear or that are fear driven? Like what does
People that are only able to base their conversations on what they see on TV and not what they've actually done.
So it's almost as if we're all playing a character of some sort. If you
Right.
thought it like that.
When you think about it.
Everyone is a character. Yes, everyone is. Most people don't know it.
And by your name, it appears to us that you're choosing a grand character. Like it's like you're not settling for a regular character. That there seems to be a hint of a desire to be grand that's in your name.
If you're aiming to be regular, you're missing the point.
And in your opinion, it sounds like what one aspect of being regular, or one way of being regular, is a person that is living like a fear-based life.
Yes.
Okay. And in your opinion, you would like your character to create some sort of thinking, some sort of thought to move them from this fear to what would you call the opposite of fear, or from in what out of fear, in what direction would you like people's attention to move towards, if we're removing them from fear?
To keep it simple, I would say, I almost want to say, to find joy in what fears you.
Okay.
What you fear.
Alexandra, yeah, any thoughts come to your mind when you hear that? Like,
sure. With that being said, to talk about you more in depth, who is the most important person in your life? Yourself?
Yes.
So you could have chose anyone in the world, living or non-living, but you chose yourself. Can you talk about that? Because I would venture to say that if we asked 100 people that maybe only 1 or 2% would point at themselves.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think that anyone would be expecting that, and that's why this is the Grand Marcus of America. So I think we all have something to learn, because he's an outside of the box person. If create boxes here, so Mr. America, Mr. Grand Marcus of America. So that's like an out of the box response, but it's very intriguing because, once you pointed at yourself, my gut feeling was like, man, he's so right. Like, why wouldn't I choose myself? But you chose yourself. So talk about it.
So just to go off what you all's response, to me, it's weird that people wouldn't choose themselves. So that's how far I've gotten into it.
So just to kind of repeat,
I will also say that I will say, have you all seen the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks?
Many years ago. Have you, Alexandra?
I'll give a quick breakdown of the movie. Basically, he has a family. He has to go away for a little while, and then he gets stranded by himself in the extremes of nature. So extreme situation in nature where you had no one else. How could anyone else be more important than you? If you were in a survival situation, if you were in a situation where only person you could count on is you when it comes to people.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it sounds like to me that it would be a distraction, or it would take, like, any minute that you spend looking outside of yourself, like, is a minute that you're putting your own life in jeopardy.
Yes.
and you know, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. You know, I do find myself in a survival type situation. You know, even though you know, we're not like that, I don't feel no lion or tiger chasing me down or whatever, but the illusion that I'm living in kind of like sedates me to the reality that we're all surviving. You know, like, and then people might want to say that some of us are thriving because you can look at your bank account and you might think, oh, I'm thriving because my bank account shows differently. But at least if I'm honest with myself, I feel like it's still survival either way.
Yes, I agree. I feel we are all in a land of survival. However, I don't choose to live my life like I am in the land of just survival.
Okay, speak on that. So then it sounds like you're making the most out of this castaway situation, because even with your analogy being cast away, I mean, that I'm kind of resonating with that as well. But from, like, you know, we're born into this three-dimensional world, and we are essentially cast away from the other side, and then we find ourselves here in the midst of what looks like other people. You know, but at least for me, I know I've been alone in my thoughts, even though I've been surrounded by people. You know, feeling a lot like a castaway.
We we are all we are all alone, even if we are around the most loved people that we cherish. If we have the biggest fans, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's you got to get up on your own. You got to put your own pants on. You got to speak up for yourself. If you want something, you got to go get it.
And
So,
then, how do you determine who is a true friend and those that are just individuals that didn't just tend to hang on to you?
good question.
See, I feel people get lost in words. So even friend is a word. So I'm at a place where I focus on who cares to show me that they want me to let's say do better, be better in a way that's balanced for myself. But once again, though, you got to have that relationship with yourself before you have that with someone else.
So Alexandra has brought up friendship, and you know, as I'm hearing you speak, it sounds like some of your views could be um like in opposition to the mainstream views, and I know that can create friction in relationships. Um, have you experienced friction in relationships with people, family? So, and I put family, friends, and I put that in quotation, given what you just said. So, what I'm saying is, with the people that have been in your sphere, how it seems like you've had some sort of awakening of some sort, and we can explore that at some point. And I could imagine that that your thinking creates opposition, where people aren't people have some opposition to you, to your character, especially if your presence challenges their basic beliefs. How's that experience been?
There's ups and downs due to the levels you get to, because each level we get to, we have to figure it out. That's where the ups and downs come from. However, it's once you get to a certain level, you realize it's always great. It's always a good thing. Even the friction, you know, with family and friends, with most times when you get to this point, they're not gonna understand because it's everyone's you realize everyone's not gonna reach it.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about identity. So prior, and then Alexandra, so far the conversation seems to be a bit philosophical, a bit well, thought-provoking in of itself. Now let's take a step back and begin to like maybe talk a little bit about a past identity of yours, or like your past. So out of what was the Grand Marquis of, so before the Grand Marquis of America was the Grand Marquis of America, I see your name Marcus. Let's start there. Like, what does the name Marcus mean to you? And then my goal would probably be to then move back from the name Marcus to kind of get some data points on your identity or your previous identity. Like what happened, or who Marcus is/was before the Grand showed up. It looks like a man frozen.
I believe so. So if you see me like just like looking,
Okay, so what would you like to start?
So it froze a bit. So go ahead, and if you can repeat whatever it is that you were saying, and then I'll just speak.
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you all hear me?
yes.
Okay. Would you like to start at a certain age range?
Alexandra, give me a number from 0 to, let's say, 27.
19.
19.
Did I win the Lucky
That's
Lotto? Did
he
I
picked a
win
good
Lucky
one.
Lotto? Did I come on now,
That was
Julian?
it
Did
was
I
just,
win?
I can tap into that one.
Did I win, Julian? Did I win?
Well, let's see what you won. The Grand Marquis of America is going to reflect on a past identity that is suspended in time, contained within the 19-year-old version of himself.
19 didn't know anything. 19, I would say if 19 knew anything, he knew he wanted to do something. But far as like internally, 19 didn't know anything.
Okay. And so 19 seems like that's like maybe right after high school.
I was in the Marine Corps. I had already been to combat for my first time.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, you get that, Alexandra? So this is like maybe a year older than your son right now. So Alexandra has an 18-year-old son.
Do I look like I got an 18-year-old Grand Marquis of America?
No.
I don't.
No.
I'm getting old. I got gray hair up here and everything.
Oh,
I don't see it, so don't stop telling on yourself.
That's right.
Thank you. Now hold on, let me.
So he was in combat at about the age of your son's age. Now let's think about what that might.
There you go.
So, well, let me shift the attention real quick to you, Alexandra. Alexandra, as a parent, like how would you feel about, what would be going in through your mind if your child was in that position?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have one son, and I can't even imagine my child being a part of nothing like that, because I wouldn't even want him to do anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I'm just being honest.
My mom did her best to talk me out of trying to get enrolled or enlisted. I mean, she wrote me poems and did all the whole nine. So then to hear that the Grand Marquis of America was already in combat, you know, then that would definitely cause me to be that much more attentive to what he's saying, because
And not only that, Julian, like for me, and I'm not just talking for just myself, I'm talking for me and as well as other mothers too. You know what I mean? Because majority of the time that's not something we would want to do. Um but if it takes itself upon it and that's a choice that you want to make as on your own and stuff, then some mothers as well as mothers and fathers together of that individual that tend to go off, they will have to accept that. But me personally,
yeah, that'd be
I love my son, and I ain't got no other kids, so he get all my loving.
and then so the Grand Marquis was saying, or giving attention to the idea that the 19-year-old version of himself was not as aware or as conscious of the version that he is now. And then I'm just thinking, imagine how many other young men and young women are out there making these life-changing choices, like joining the military, but may not be fully aware of themselves. Like, what is, like, how are we setting our young people up? It seems like a lot to me, for someone so young. Yeah, speak on that.
So you all's parents were opposite of mine. They focused so much on financial stability. They were glad I was doing that. They did not prepare me. Like, when I say prepare, like, let me know what I'm getting myself into enough for me to even make a real actual mature decision about it. Because you think about it, like what kind of mature, and I'm not going to speak for every 19-year-old, but what kind of mature decision are we able to make when you can, like, they didn't know I was going to be in combat a year later.
Right.
Let me tell you something. My birthday is April 15th. The week of my 19th birthday, I was on an airstrip in Greece, literally getting ready to go to combat. Yeah, didn't know that was going to be happening.
And then, so we've had conversations about this next piece over here that I want to bring attention to, but I think it's important for others to hear, is like, a lot of times we make, we make, I'll use the word, a big deal out of some of the challenges that we have here in the quote unquote real world. But what does it feel like to go to sleep not knowing if you're going to literally wake up the next morning?
I never thought about that when I got there. I want to say fortunate. You could say lucky. Like, I remember when it was the realization that this is real, when shots were literally being fired. And I literally told myself, look, you got to make a decision. You either not think about that at all and be here in the present. And I was able to say, I don't even know how. I'm here. What's up? Oh, man. To the point where it's like, this is actually pretty cool.
Okay, so it's almost like you had to step out of the illusion of the life that we're presented with and step into a reality where death was imminent almost, or like right at the door, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And then listening to like the way the interview has been going on, and we talked about how some people live in fear. It almost seems like at that age you had no choice, or you had a choice, no choice, or a choice to make a decision whether you were going to be fear-based or not? Is that sound
I won't totally say that.
okay?
I'll say this. In that situation, I was able to make that choice. But I can give you other situations where I wasn't prepared to not be fear-based.
All right, let's talk about that. Can you give us one other example in the meantime?
With women,
All right, with women. So speak on it.
I didn't have the understanding that I have when it comes to my relationship as a man and other women. I actually, when it's funny, when I was actually there, a friend of mine had a book about, and in the book it focused on nonverbal forms of communication or seduction or just how to get the attention of the opposite sex, but really it's with anyone, you know, because I didn't know how to just, you know, like to confidently when you're talking to someone else, pretty much how to steer the conversation into a favorable way for yourself, not necessarily to do wrong to someone, but to be like, hey, look at me, you should like me, you know? So I didn't have that supreme or grand confidence then.
Okay. So I know for me, women have been, I'll use the word weak spot. You know, I think of the
Yes.
story of Samson and I think
Yes.
that for me, they've been like a weak spot. So how about for you? And
What up, man?
say hi.
I'm gonna get you.
He gonna get you. All right, but yeah. So they've been like a weak spot for me, and I guess what that means has been it's been a source of distraction, but you know, a pleasant distraction, I would say. But ultimately, I've had to deal with that part of my life. Like it's something that I've had to give attention to. You know, especially for me to become a better version of myself. So like, how has okay? Oh, so look, the Zoom is telling me we have less than a minute, and it seems like we got a lot more we could unpack.
I know. Would you like to do a part 2 on this?
Yes.
I'd definitely be interested in that.
So, you know, hopefully, are you available tomorrow to continue it?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, rather than I'll hold my question, but we know that we left on the topic of women, and we'll just kind of close this out.
Because I'm ready for that topic. I'm ready for that topic, Julie.
I know you are. I know you are. And I'm so excited about where we've gotten up to this point because I know how much of an impact this interview can have on anyone who's willing to listen. You know, because if we come with our preconceived judgments about what a person is or isn't supposed to be, we might miss it. You know, so the Grand Marcus, anything you want to share? You know, we got a few seconds here that make that closing out this episode here.
When it comes to fear, as much as you can, go ahead.
So I can't read lips, Alexandra. It first freezing up.
No, it's freezing up. I can't really hear anything now.
All right. So the Grand Marcus, if you could repeat that. When it comes to fear, and then it blocked out.
As much as you can, go head first.
Head first. All right, that's the word of the day. Go head first into your fears so that you may have a life-changing experience and you may experience more joy than the opposite. You know, we're castaways on this land, on this